Okay, so I don't just do recipes. Let's get to the nitty gritty of things, okay? We are discussing toxic relationships and how to co parent while separating yourself from a toxic relationship. Is it possible? I'm still trying to figure that out. I think, yes, it is possible. It would entail you yourself alone, letting go of every single thing and not even focusing on. You have to focus on yourself in order to be your best self, to be your best self for someone else, which means your children. But you get what I'm saying. Focus on tunnel vision. What's the most important thing? And that's bringing up happy, healthy children. That's just a fact. That's what it is. So once you're able to separate the bullshit from what really matters, yes, I do believe that you will have to be. My definition of co-parenting would probably be defined as coexisting, compromising of parental parenting styles, if that's the thing. Parental parenting, can I say that double times? Working together to, like I say, raise happy, healthy, thriving, confident, independent children. I'm still trying to figure out the format. It's been a very long journey that has not ended yet. I would still say I'm at the starting line. I would say I'm in a race that I've jumped at least 3 hurdles and knocked 2 of them over in the process of trying to make it to the finish line. Like, what the fuck? I'm not trying to stereotype or define anyone. These are just my observations and from my own life situations. But yes, I do believe that in the past I have dealt with, maybe egotistical, narcissistic, psychopathic maniac. And that's okay because I'm sure people have labeled me as certain things. Let them tell it. We won't even go into that. But you're more than willing to ask anybody what they think of me. And it might not be what I think is the greatest thing, but you get what I'm saying. So for a long time, I was stuck in like a really, like a rut. Like, how do I remove myself from this situation that I have to be confined to for the rest of my life or my children's lives? So that's the number one thing you got to make a plan for. I was quick to just chalk it all up and be like, all right, I don't need this shit. But you do definitely need not necessarily an exit plan, but like a plan to stabilize your own mentality and emotions, and so that you're still able to continue in life without holding grudges, being angry, expecting more of what there is to be expected of someone who has a pattern of letting you down. So you have to really just shut a lot of things off. And I hate to sound cliche or anything like this, but you gotta open your third eye. We will talk about that. You have to. You can't move forward unless you do. Now, I'm not some spiritual guru or anything. I just do research, and I've been surrounding myself with people who have laid a foundation for me to enjoy spirituality without feeling stressed out about it. And opening your third eye simply means that you are aware of all of your surroundings. You're aware of everything that's going on. And being aware means the good and the bad, even within yourself. Stressful situations. But the key is not to react. It's a lot of controlling your emotions. You see what I'm saying? And being able to see things and people from different perspectives. You have a third eye, so it's not just your eyes. It's an extra eye out there for you. Which makes you less judgmental, and you're less likely to overreact when you react. You get what I'm saying? It took me a long time to get to this point, and I'm still, it's only like open a little bit, because sometimes I'd be like, ugh, And the thing that I noticed about co-parenting when you're just released from a toxic relationship is that everybody's not on the same page. You could be running a race with somebody who's not ready to pass you the baton. You're just holding it out like, come on, we gotta win. We in this together, and they just can't pass the baton, or they drop it. And you're like, oh, I thought we were winning, but you dropped the shit. What the fuck? That's kind of how I see things. Or you're in a boat and you're rowing and you think it feels tough, and when you turn around, you realize it is because the person you're in the boat with isn't rowing, even though you assumed that they were. Shit like that. But I also learned, even with my son before, I made so many mistakes with him. You know, I was selfish. A lot of behaviors I was doing was out of selfishness for myself, but I definitely should have put him first. But I had to forgive myself for that, because that was easier to do because he forgave me for it. You see what I'm saying? Like, and we can get into that later, but there is a difference, and I hate to say it, within raising young men and young women. I mean, it just is. It's just maybe because I'm a woman and I know the hardships a woman can have. Men have them too, but I'm just saying, co-parenting with two different fathers is also another story to talk about too. I got 2 baby daddies. That shit is great. But the point being is, if you don't nip it in the bud, you could be trapped on a hamster wheel of nothingness, darkness, sadness, grudginess, until your children reach age they'll be grown. And you can't let that happen. You have to be brave enough, strong enough, and have willpower to be able to open your third eye and look back and say, these are not the vibrations that I'm feeling right now. And even though we're not agreeing, and I don't agree, and maybe I can't see what you are expecting and why, I can't let what you're doing impair my parenting skills to help me bring up a strong, confident, independent child. It's just not gonna work. None of that is ever gonna work. Nothing should interfere with you being a great parent ever. And you know, co-parenting should be about, in a perfect world, it's about you guys uplifting each other. You both saying, you're great, I'm great. Or you're even able to say, you know what, this is not the best idea or choice that you're making. Let's try to figure this out together so that we can get back on track to raise our children to be better than we were. Okay? But it's not always like that. So how do you move forward? Okay? When you're trying to co-parent with a narcissistic or a toxic, we'll just say a toxic person, you gotta ignore it. And I mean, there's no other way to say it. You have to ignore it. It's gonna be hard, but you just gotta, like a pimple that you know you should pop, but you're like, if I pop, it's gonna be worse. Just let it bust on its own. Just let it do its thing. That's the best way I can describe it, because you know, a toxic parent would be like, well, I'm calling the court. I'm taking you to court. And you're going to go to court. And they're going to see how disgusting of a human being you are. And they will attempt to do all of these things to get you feared, get you scared. Like, and at first, your first reaction before you're there is like, what? So you're saying you're going to try and take my kids away? Because they know that if you're a great parent, that's the last thing that you really want to hear. And when you're first weak and still wounded from the toxicity that you had just been in, you're scared, you're shook. You're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Do I need to obey by this toxic person's words and give in to everything they say just to make this situation better? Because I don't want my kids taken away. No, you don't. No. Learn your rights. Learn what you deserve. And this isn't for everyone. Some of y'all are doing some weird foul shit where maybe this situation might not work for you, but if you know that you are the sole provider and you are doing everything in your power and care to make sure that your family is okay, fear nothing. Okay? It's a lot of talk, and it's all just to bring you down. If the baby catches a cold, it's your fault. The baby's sick. You got the baby sick. The baby's not learning. Oh, you didn't make the baby learn. If they're not eating, oh, you didn't do that. It's just, you know. But when you sit back and look, what are they really contributing? You see what I'm saying? The slander, the yelling, the name calling, the constant bullying. It's all to break you down so that you're not able to perform as a parent as you should. And then they will have something to say like, oh, they're so weak and emotionally broken. They are not a good parent. That's what they're trying to do. Just don't keep doing you. I mean, I found my situation where my baby was a few months old and the other half up and just left for whatever reasons. And I mean, there was a lot of things that happened that I won't discuss on the internet, because I do believe things on the internet, are there forever. But there's so many times where I could have been like, oh, okay. I mean, but I didn't. Because in the end, you can't react. Not reacting is reacting. You're reacting by not reacting. And that's just the most best thing that you could ever do for yourself and your children. And I know this is going to sound like, why are you talking about famous people? But sometimes, just for the hell of it, I'll go on Beyonce's Instagram. People be going at her like, oh, you can't sing with her. She never responds. I don't even know if she sees it, but I'm just saying, point being, why would you respond? Your life, you're living a great life. Like, it may not be the best life, but you're living a great life. So as far as co-parenting, I would say sometimes it is impossible to have that relationship. It just is. But I do believe when two people that are really in it for the care of their children get to it and make a plan and ride out with that plan, that shit will work. It'll work. It can work. You can do it. But also, you have to be very wary of the situations that you put your children in and who you put them in with. That's one of the fears that people have. You see what I'm saying? It's like, when I get the baby, I'm going to tell the baby everything that's horrible about you. And I'm going to talk bad about you to the baby. And I'm going to tell the baby what you did when you were 16 and the havoc you caused and the drugs you took and the sex you had and the things you did. And it's like, when you hear what somebody is saying, really in a nutshell, what a quarter anybody else would be hearing them say is that, okay, so your intentions are not pure. Your intentions aren't to get the time that's allotted for you to have with your child, to love them, show them kindness. You would rather spend that time filling their mind with evilness and sadness to turn them against somebody who cares for them deeply. That's toxic. That's unacceptable. Because if it was really for the child, it's not like, hey, I'm giving you money. A toxic parent would be like, I ain't giving you shit, bitch. Yeah, you won't get a motherfucking dime from me unless my name on the motherfucking birth certificate. You ain't getting nothing from me. Okay, well, one, I didn't ask because, remember, we're not expecting more of what there is to be expected, okay? Two, this just proves that I'm fully capable of being independent on myself, which if we ever had to go to court, they would see. So this is like a pointless conversation. So therefore, a toxic person would be like, but I need to see this baby every day and talk to him every day. A person having such high demands by contributing so little, you should really just sit back and not react to it because it doesn't make sense. That's not co-parenting. That's someone bullying you. So in the end, and this goes for men too, because sometimes there's toxic women. There's definitely toxic women. I'm just saying any way whatever way you want to drive down the street. Don't react and just continue your best. It's going to be so hard. There's going to be so many days where you'll be like, I just want to be that person. But you don't, because when you look at your children and you see how they are, how they move, what makes them laugh, what makes them smile, you contributed it to that. The positive, you contributed it to that. And even if it's something that they don't like, you contributed to that as well. You can't just take credit for all the good things. There's some bad things, okay? But you have to know that what's most important is protecting and guiding the life that God gave you the responsibility for when you had the baby. Okay? You. Solely you, okay? And I am in no way saying, like, I've been the perfect parent. Because, I mean, if you have a conversation with my son, he's like, oh, my God, my mom gets on my fucking nerves, I did a lot of dumb shit. It was when I had my first child. So my second child is like, okay. But being in a toxic relationship, That's like feeling like you're swimming in a pool of sludge, mush, swampness, and you gotta get out. It's up to you to figure out, do you want to drown in negativity and badness and then not be able to raise another human that's going to be here hopefully after you leave? My dog's butt is in my face. Don't be like other people when they become angry and aren't doing what they need to do. Be you. God, do what guides you in your heart when you know that it's with good intentions. Anything done with good intentions cannot fail. It cannot. I'm no therapist. I'm no social worker. I'm just saying from like my personal experiences. I've been in such a crazy place. Like I could tell a million stories, you know. But life is still moving. The sun is still shining. You can't let that shit get you down. Toxic people want to do anything to derail you from being great. Like taking a car back they gave you all because they're mad and you had the baby. Not giving you diapers, wipes, milk, nothing. Anything to make you suffer. Not contributing to any kind of activities, nothing. But demanding repeatedly, give me pictures every day. I want to see them every day. If you are confirming that this is your child, but you're also confirming that you're not putting forth any effort in the upbringing of it, but just then that speaks for itself, and keep going. I really do wish everyone the best though, because no matter, especially if it is your first baby, parenting is a difficult thing, and you do need like a foundation, but at the same time, we have to protect our children at all costs. And sometimes you have to protect your children from yourselves. Like, people should not use children as pawns or hold them hostages, but if it's for the sake of their own mentality and emotional well-being, do that shit. Nobody needs to be around somebody who's constantly toxic or is not, you know what I'm saying, on that level. So figure it out. If you have any suggestions, like this video, don't like this video, leave your comments and suggestions in that little box below, because I would love to hear what other people's idea on co-parenting or parenting, or what your situation is. So I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to tell my story. For people who don't understand what it's like to co-parent in a toxic relationship, I'm not really sure like what you would say, but if you know somebody who is struggling with that, have a little empathy. Check on them and make sure that they are okay. Okay? Because a lot of times if they've reached the level where I've reached, it's like you don't react. So you're going about your day as if, you know, like, even though inside you're like, but I believe that if you're strong enough and you are solely independent, and it's gonna take a minute to get there, you can do it. You can do it. Sometimes a court will have to, you know, figure out certain situations. That should be your last resort. Maybe family therapy should be first, but if that's not gonna work, it's up to you to figure out the best solution.